I still remember the rain hammering against the restaurant window that Thursday night. Sarah sat across from me, her diamond ring catching the candlelight. We'd been engaged for 8 months, planning our future together. I reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Her eyes wouldn't meet mine. "Marcus, we need to talk," she whispered. My stomach dropped. Those 4 words never mean anything good. I'd saved for months to afford this place, wanting to celebrate her promotion. But something felt wrong. She kept glancing at her phone, fingers trembling. "What's going on?" I asked, forcing a smile. She took a deep breath. "I met someone else." The noise of the restaurant faded. My ears buzzed. 3 years together, vanished in 4 words. She slid the ring across the table, the scraping sound like nails on a chalkboard. I wanted to ask who, when, why. But the answer came before I could speak. "His name is Derek Chen. He's a real estate developer." She paused. "He can give me the life I deserve." I sat there, frozen. The life she deserved? What about the life we'd built together? Sarah didn't waste time explaining. She told me Derek owned properties across the city, drove a Porsche, and had a penthouse downtown. Every word felt like a knife. I'd been working 60-hour weeks as a junior software engineer, barely making enough to cover rent and our wedding savings. "You're a good person, Marcus," she said, like that made it better. "But I need stability. Security. Derek can provide that." I wanted to argue. To remind her about our late-night talks, our dreams, our promises. But pride kept my mouth shut. If money was all that mattered to her, then maybe I never really knew her at all. She stood up, smoothing her dress. "I hope you understand." I didn't. But I nodded anyway. She walked out, heels clicking against the tile floor. I sat alone at that table for another hour, staring at the ring she'd left behind. The waiter eventually brought the check. $83 for a breakup I never saw coming. Outside, the rain had stopped. I walked home in the dark, my phone buzzing with texts from mutual friends. Word traveled fast. The next morning, I woke up on my couch, still wearing yesterday's clothes. My apartment felt emptier than usual. Sarah had already collected her things, her toothbrush, her books, the photo frame we'd bought together in Seattle. She'd been planning this. I called in sick to work. My manager, Kevin, didn't ask questions. I spent the day scrolling through old photos on my phone, torturing myself. Beach trips. Birthday parties. Her laughing at my terrible jokes. Had she been faking it all? Around noon, my best friend Tyler showed up with pizza and beer. He didn't say much, just sat with me. That's what good friends do. But even Tyler's silence couldn't drown out the voice in my head repeating Sarah's words. "He can give me the life I deserve." That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going to wallow. I wasn't going to beg her to come back. Instead, I opened my laptop and started researching. If Sarah wanted wealth, fine. I'd show her what real success looked like. I just didn't know how yet. Monday came too fast. At work, I buried myself in code, ignoring the pitying looks from coworkers who'd heard about the breakup. During lunch, I sat alone in the break room, sketching ideas in my notebook. I'd been tinkering with an app concept for months, a scheduling tool for freelancers that could automate invoicing and time tracking. Kevin walked in, coffee in hand. "You okay, Marcus?" I nodded. "Just thinking." He sat down across from me. "That app idea you mentioned last month, you still working on it?" I'd pitched it to him casually, never expecting him to remember. "Yeah, actually. I'm getting serious about it." Kevin leaned forward. "I've got a friend who's an angel investor. He funds early-stage startups. Want an introduction?" My heart jumped. This was the break I needed. "Absolutely." Kevin texted someone right there. "His name's Raymond Lee. He'll meet you Thursday at the Blue Cafe. 6 o'clock. Don't be late. I thanked him, adrenaline pumping through my veins. For days to perfect my pitch. For days to start changing my life. I spent every free moment preparing. I rewrote my business plan 3 times, created mock-ups of the app interface, and practiced my pitch in front of the bathroom mirror. Tyler listened to my presentation twice, offering brutal feedback that actually helped. "You sound desperate," he said Wednesday night. "Investors smell desperation. Sound confident, even if you're faking it." Thursday arrived. I put on my best suit, the one I'd bought for job interviews 2 years ago, and headed to the Blue Cafe. Raymond Lee was already there, sitting by the window. He was younger than I expected, maybe 40, with sharp eyes that seemed to calculate everything. "Marcus?" He stood, shaking my hand firmly. "Kevin speaks highly of you." We sat down. I launched into my pitch, explaining how Freelance Flow could revolutionize how independent workers manage their businesses. Raymond listened without interrupting, occasionally nodding. When I finished, silence hung between us. Finally, he spoke. "How much do you need?" $50,000 to build the MVP and run a beta test." He pulled out his phone, typing something. "I'll give you 75. But I want 15% equity." I nearly choked on my water. I accepted Raymond's offer on the spot. We shook hands, and he promised to have his lawyers draft the paperwork. Walking out of that cafe, I felt like I was floating. $75,000. 15% equity was steep, but I didn't care. This was my shot. I called Tyler immediately. It happened. "He's investing." Tyler's scream nearly burst my eardrum. I told you it would work." That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind raced with possibilities. I'd need to hire a designer, maybe a developer to help with the back end. I'd need to quit my job eventually, but not yet. Not until Freelance Flow proved itself. 3 days later, the contract arrived. I signed it in my kitchen, hands shaking. This was real. Raymond transferred the money the same day. Seeing that balance in my business account made everything feel possible. I immediately started hiring. A designer named Lisa agreed to work part-time. A back-end developer, Ahmed, joined for equity plus a small salary. We were a team of 3, working nights and weekends, fueled by coffee and ambition. 2 months passed in a blur. We launched a basic version of Freelance Flow to 50 beta testers. The feedback was incredible. People loved how simple it was. They loved the automatic invoicing, the time tracking, the clean interface. We fixed bugs constantly, but every improvement made the app stronger. Meanwhile, Sarah's Facebook posts showed her new life. Photos of expensive restaurants, weekend trips to wine country, Derek's arm around her waist. Each post stung, but it also fueled me. She'd chosen comfort. I chose risk. One night, Tyler sent me a screenshot. Sarah had posted about attending some charity gala downtown. "Derek surprised me with this amazing event," the caption read. She wore a dress that probably cost more than my rent. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I closed it and went back to work. By month 3, we had 200 active users. By month 4, 500. Word was spreading. Freelancers were telling other freelancers. Raymond called weekly, impressed by our growth. "You're onto something, Marcus. Don't stop now." I didn't plan to. 6 months after Sarah left, Freelance Flow hit 1,000 users. We started charging a monthly subscription fee, $9 per user. The revenue wasn't huge, but it was real. I was making money from something I'd built. That feeling was better than any paycheck. Kevin pulled me aside at work. "I heard about your app. That's incredible, man." I thanked him, but my mind was elsewhere. I'd been thinking about quitting my job, going full-time on Freelance Flow. The numbers supported it now. Between my salary and the app revenue, I could survive. Barely, but I could. That Friday, I handed in my 2-week notice. My manager seemed sad but understanding. "You're chasing something bigger," he said. "I respect that." My last day was bittersweet. I'd spent 3 years in that office, learning and growing. But it was time to move on. On my way out, I ran into a former coworker who'd known Sarah. "Hey, I heard she's engaged to that Derek guy," she said casually. My stomach twisted, but I smiled. Good for her. It wasn't good. But I pretended it was. Going full-time on Freelance Flow changed everything. Without the distraction of a day job, I could focus completely. Lisa, Ahmed, and I met daily, pushing new features, fixing problems, and planning our marketing strategy. Raymond connected us with a PR consultant who helped spread the word. Articles started appearing in freelance blogs. The app every freelancer needs. Freelance Flow simplifies the chaos. Each mention brought new users. By month 9, we'd crossed 5,000 subscribers. The revenue was enough to pay everyone properly now. I moved out of my cramped apartment into a nicer place. Nothing fancy, but it had actual sunlight and space to work. Tyler helped me move, joking about how I was going corporate on him. "You've changed, man," he said, carrying boxes. "In a good way. You're focused." He was right. The breakup had shattered me, but I'd rebuilt myself stronger. Every rejection, every sleepless night, every moment of doubt had pushed me forward. One evening, Raymond invited me to dinner at an upscale steakhouse. "We need to talk about scaling," he said. Raymond explained that Freelance Flow needed a bigger investment to grow faster. We'd proven the concept, but to dominate the market, we needed a series of funding round. He knew venture capitalists who'd be interested. "How much are we talking?" I asked. 2 million. Maybe 3. I nearly dropped my fork. That kind of money could transform Freelance Flow into something massive. But it also meant giving up more equity, bringing in board members, and losing some control. "Think about it," Raymond said. "But don't think too long. Competitors are watching." He was right. I'd noticed other apps trying to copy our features. We needed to move fast. That weekend, I called my team. We met at my apartment, spreading papers across the coffee table. Lisa crunched numbers while Ahmed sketched technical upgrades we could make with serious funding. By Sunday night, we'd decided. We'd go for it. Raymond set up meetings with 3 VC firms. The pitches were intense, rooms full of skeptical investors grilling me about growth projections, market size, and competitive advantages. But I'd practiced. I was ready. 2 firms passed. The third firm, Apex Ventures, offered $3 million for 20% equity. Signing that deal felt surreal. $3 million. Our small team suddenly had resources to hire engineers, marketers, and customer support staff. Within weeks, we'd moved into a real office, a bright, open space downtown with a view of the harbor. I hired 10 people in the first month. Each one brought new energy and ideas. Freelance Flow wasn't just my project anymore. It was becoming a real company. Tyler visited our office, eyes wide. "This is insane. You're like a real CEO now." I laughed, but he had a point. I was managing a team, making decisions that affected people's livelihoods. The responsibility was heavy, but I loved it. Around this time, I started seeing social media posts about Derek's company. Apparently, there were rumors of financial troubles, missed payments to contractors, angry clients. I didn't dig too deep, but I noticed Sarah had stopped posting photos as frequently. One night, I got a text from an unknown number. "Hey Marcus, it's Sarah. Can we talk?" I stared at that message for 10 minutes. Part of me wanted to ignore it. But curiosity won. I replied, "About what?" "Just coffee. Please. I owe you an apology." We met at a small cafe near her apartment. Sarah looked different, tired, maybe. She wore less makeup than usual, and her smile seemed forced. "Thanks for coming," she said quietly. I nodded, sipping my coffee. "What did you want to talk about?" She hesitated. "I wanted to say I'm sorry. For how things ended. For what I said that night." The words hung between us. I'd imagined this moment for months, but now that it was happening, I felt nothing. No anger, no satisfaction. Just emptiness. "Why now?" I asked. She looked down. "Things with Derek aren't what I thought they'd be. He's under a lot of stress. Financial problems. I didn't know how bad it was. So that's what this was." Her perfect rich boyfriend was crumbling, and suddenly she remembered me. I almost laughed. "I'm not your backup plan, Sarah." Her eyes filled with tears. "I know. I made a mistake. I threw away something real for something shiny." I stood up. "I hope things work out for you. I really do. But I've moved on." I left her sitting there, feeling lighter than I had in months. Freelance Flow kept growing. By the end of year 1, we had 20,000 subscribers. The revenue was substantial, enough that I could finally pay myself a real salary. I bought a car, nothing fancy, but it was mine. I upgraded my wardrobe. Started going to the gym regularly. Tyler noticed the changes. "You're becoming the rich guy Sarah wanted." "No," I corrected him. "I'm becoming the person I always could have been. There's a difference. I wasn't doing this for Sarah anymore. I was doing it for me." That month, we launched Freelance Flow Premium, offering advanced features for $20 per month. 10% of our users upgraded immediately. The money poured in faster than I could track. Apex Ventures sent congratulatory emails, thrilled with our progress. Raymond called with news: "There's a tech conference in Vegas next month. Major players will be there. You should present Freelance Flow." I'd never spoken at a conference before, but I agreed. This was another step forward. The preparation was brutal. I rewrote my presentation a dozen times, practiced until Tyler threatened to throw my laptop out the window. But when the day came, I walked on that stage confidently. The conference hall was packed with hundreds of people. Industry leaders, investors, journalists, everyone who mattered in the tech world. My hands were sweaty as I stepped up to the microphone, but I remembered Tyler's advice: fake confidence until it becomes real. I told Freelance Flow's story. How I'd built it from nothing, how we'd grown from 3 people to a team of 20, how we'd solved real problems for real people. The audience listened, engaged. When I finished, the applause was thunderous. Afterward, people swarmed me. Investors handed me business cards. Journalists asked for interviews. One woman from TechCrunch wanted to write a feature story. It was overwhelming and exhilarating. That night, Tyler called. "Dude, you're trending on Twitter. People are talking about your presentation." I checked my phone. Sure enough, #FreelanceFlow was climbing the trending list. Comments praised the app, my story, the presentation. This was bigger than I'd imagined. The next day, TechCrunch published their article, "From Heartbreak to Success: How Marcus Chin Built Freelance Flow." They'd interviewed Raymond, Lisa, Ahmed, everyone. The article went viral. My phone exploded with messages. The TechCrunch article changed everything. Within a week, we gained 15,000 new subscribers. Our servers struggled to keep up. Ahmed worked around the clock to scale our infrastructure. Lisa hired 2 more designers to handle the increased workload. Competitors noticed. Bigger companies started trying to acquire us. Offers came in, 5 million, 10 million. Raymond advised me to wait. "You're just getting started. Don't sell too soon." He was right. Freelance Flow wasn't just an app anymore. It was becoming a movement. Freelancers everywhere saw it as their tool, their solution. We were building something that mattered. Around this time, I attended a charity gala downtown. An investor had invited me, saying it was good for networking. I wore a tailored suit, feeling like I belonged in these spaces now. That's when I saw her. Sarah stood across the room, arm-linked with Derek's. She looked stunning in a black dress, but Derek looked stressed. His smile seemed painted on. They were talking to some older couple, but Sarah's eyes kept scanning the crowd. Then our eyes met. Her face went pale. She whispered something to Derek and started walking toward me. My heart pounded, but I stood my ground. "Marcus?" Sarah's voice was soft, uncertain. "I didn't know you'd be here." I smiled politely. "Raymond invited me." "How are you, Sarah?" She glanced back at Derek, who was watching us. "I'm good. I heard about your app. Everyone's talking about it." "That's amazing." "Thanks." I kept my voice neutral, friendly but distant. Derek walked over, extending his hand. "Derek Chen. I've heard great things about Freelance Flow." I shook his hand, noting how tight his grip was. "Competitive. Marcus Chen. Nice to meet you." Sarah looked uncomfortable, shifting her weight. "Derek, this is my ex-fiancée." Derek's expression barely changed, but I caught the flicker of something in his eyes. Surprise? Insecurity? "Small world," he said. "Very small," I agreed. An awkward silence hung between us. Finally, Sarah spoke. "We should catch up sometime, Marcus. I'd love to hear more about what you're doing." I nodded, non-committal. "Maybe. Good seeing you both." I walked away before she could respond, heading toward the bar. My hands were shaking, but I felt oddly calm. I'd faced her, faced him, and I'd held my ground. The next week, Sarah called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Marcus, about the gala." She started. "What about it?" She sighed. "I just wanted to say, I'm proud of you." "Really? What you've built is incredible." "Thanks." Another pause. "Derek's company is going through some rough times. He's stressed, and I don't know. Things aren't great between us." I stayed silent, letting her fill the space. "I keep thinking about what I gave up. About us. I made a terrible mistake, Marcus. I see that now." There it was. The real reason for her call. Derek's money was disappearing, and suddenly I was the successful one. The irony wasn't lost on me. "Sarah, I appreciate the call. But I'm not interested in revisiting the past." "I'm not asking you to take me back," she said quickly. I needed you to know I'm sorry. Truly sorry." "I believe you. But sorry doesn't change anything." I hung up before she could respond. Tyler, who'd been listening from my couch, gave me a slow clap. "That's my guy. Cold as ice." "Not cold," I said. "Just done." Freelance Flow hit 50,000 subscribers that month. The revenue allowed us to expand internationally, translating the app into Spanish, French, and German. Our user base exploded across Europe. Ahmed hired a team to handle the technical challenges of scaling globally. I moved into a penthouse apartment downtown, not to show off, but because I could finally afford it. The view reminded me of how far I'd come. Every morning, I'd stand by the window with coffee, watching the city wake up below me. One morning, Raymond called with unexpected news. "Microsoft wants to meet with you. They're interested in Freelance Flow." My heart stopped. "Microsoft? As in? Microsoft?" "Yes. They want to discuss a potential acquisition. Or a partnership. They weren't specific. But Marcus, this is huge." The meeting was set for 2 weeks later in Seattle. I'd be presenting to their executive team. The stakes couldn't be higher. I spent every available moment preparing. Lisa and Ahmed helped refine the presentation. Tyler listened to practice runs, offering feedback. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. The night before the flight, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about everything that had led to this moment. The Microsoft campus was intimidating, massive buildings, thousands of employees, an energy that screamed we own the tech world. I was escorted to a sleek conference room where 5 executives waited. I presented Freelance Flow's growth, our vision, our impact. They asked tough questions about scalability, competition, and long-term strategy. I answered confidently, backed by solid data. When I finished, the lead executive leaned back. "We're impressed, Marcus. We'd like to make an offer." My pulse quickened. "I'm listening." "We want to acquire Freelance Flow for $120 million. We'll keep your team intact, give you a leadership role in our productivity division, and provide resources to scale even faster." $120 million. The number echoed in my head. That kind of money would change everything. Not just for me, but for Lisa, Ahmed, everyone on my team. "Can I have time to think about it?" I asked. "Of course. Take a week." I flew home in a daze. Tyler picked me up from the airport, immediately asking what happened. When I told him the number, he pulled the car over. "Did you say 120 million? "Yeah. Marcus." Holy. I spent the next 3 days in agony, weighing the decision. Selling meant financial security forever. Keeping Freelance Flow meant maintaining control but staying in the fight. I called Raymond. "What do you think?" He paused. "It's your decision, Marcus. But remember why you started this. Was it for the money? Or was it for something bigger?" His question hit hard. I'd started Freelance Flow to prove something, to myself, maybe to Sarah. But somewhere along the way, it became about the users, the freelancers whose lives we were improving. I talked to Lisa and Ahmed. They'd trust whatever I decided, but I saw hope in their eyes. Hope that we could keep building something meaningful. That weekend, Tyler and I went hiking. At the summit, overlooking the valley, he asked, "What does your gut say?" I thought for a long moment. "It says we're just getting started." "Then there's your answer." Monday morning, I called Microsoft. "Thank you for the incredible offer, but I'm going to pass. Freelance Flow isn't for sale." The executive sounded surprised but respectful. "We understand. The door's always open if you change your mind." I hung up, feeling lighter than I had in days. Word of Microsoft's offer leaked somehow. Tech blogs ran headlines, "Freelance Flow founder turns down $120 million. Investors called, curious about my decision. Some thought I was crazy. Others called it bold. The publicity brought even more attention to Freelance Flow. Our subscriber count jumped to 75,000. Companies started reaching out about enterprise packages. We were becoming a major player in the productivity software space. I hired a head of sales to handle the growing demand. Our office expanded to a second floor. The team grew to 50 people. Every day brought new challenges, but I loved the chaos. One afternoon, I got an email from an unfamiliar address. The subject line read, "Congratulations from an old friend." I opened it. "Sarah. Marcus, I saw the news about Microsoft. I can't believe you turned down that much money. You always were braver than me. I wanted to reach out because Derek and I broke up. His company went bankrupt last month. Everything fell apart. I'm not asking for anything, I just wanted you to know I was wrong about everything. You were the rich man all along. I just couldn't see it. Sarah." I read it twice, then deleted it without responding. Freelance Flow's second anniversary came. We threw a party at our office, catering, music, the whole team celebrating what we'd built together. Raymond gave a toast, praising the journey from that first meeting at the Blue Cafe to where we stood now. I looked around the room at faces I'd hired, people who believed in this vision. Lisa was laughing with the design team. Ahmed was explaining something technical to a new engineer. Tyler stood in the corner, grinning at me like a proud brother. This was success. Not the money, not the headlines, these people, this energy, this purpose. Later that night, after everyone left, I sat alone in my office. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Hey Marcus, it's Sarah. I know I shouldn't reach out again, but I miss you. Can we meet?" I stared at the message for a moment. Then I blocked the number and turned off my phone. The next morning, I got a call from Forbes. They wanted to feature me in their 30 Under 30 list. The interview would be published next month, along with a photo shoot. "We're calling it How Heartbreak Built a Tech Empire," the journalist explained. The Forbes article came out on a Tuesday. My face was on the cover with the headline, "Marcus Chen, the breakup that built a $200 million company." They'd valued Freelance Flow at $200 million based on our revenue and growth projections. The article detailed my journey, Sarah leaving me, building Freelance Flow in the aftermath, the Microsoft offer, everything. It portrayed me as the underdog who refused to quit. The story resonated with readers. The article went viral, shared millions of times across social media. My inbox flooded with messages. Speaking requests from universities, interview requests from podcasts, even a literary agent asking if I'd write a book. It was overwhelming. Tyler called, laughing. "You're famous now. How does it feel?" "Weird," I admitted. "Good, but weird." That week, I got a handwritten letter delivered to our office. The return address made my stomach flip, Sarah's handwriting. I opened it carefully. Inside was a long letter apologizing again, explaining how she'd realized too late what mattered. She talked about reading the Forbes article, about crying when she saw how far I'd come. The last line read, "You deserved better than me. I'm sorry I couldn't see your worth until it was too late." I folded the letter and put it in my desk drawer. 6 months later, Freelance Flow crossed 100,000 subscribers. We were officially a major player in the productivity space. Competitors struggled to keep up. Our innovation cycle was faster, our user experience better, our team more dedicated. I bought my parents a house, something I'd always dreamed of doing. When I handed them the keys, my mother cried. My father just hugged me tight, whispering, "Proud of you, son." That meant more than any Forbes article. Raymond suggested we start planning for an IPO. "You could take this public in 2 years. Build even bigger." The idea excited me. Freelance Flow is a publicly traded company, competing with the giants. Why not? One evening, I attended a tech mixer downtown. I was chatting with other founders when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned around. Sarah stood there, looking nervous. "Hi, Marcus. I know you blocked my number. But I had to see you. One last time." I sighed. "Sarah, what do you want?" "I want to say thank you." That caught me off guard. "For what?" "For showing me what real strength looks like. I chased money and lost everything that mattered. You built something from pain. I needed to tell you that before I move on with my life." I looked at Sarah, really looked at her. The woman I'd once loved, who'd shattered my heart in a rainy restaurant. She seemed smaller somehow, less sure of herself. "I hope you find what you're looking for," I said honestly. "I really do." She nodded, eyes glistening. "You too. Though it looks like you already have." We stood there for a moment, the noise of the party fading around us. Then she smiled, a genuine smile this time, and walked away. I watched her disappear into the crowd, feeling the final piece of that old pain dissolve. Tyler appeared beside me, handing me a drink. "You good?" "Yeah," I said, meaning it. "I'm good." Freelance Flow kept growing. We launched in Asia. We signed partnerships with major corporations. We changed thousands of lives. But standing there that night, I realized the biggest change had been in me. Sarah didn't leave me for a richer man. She left me for the illusion of security. And in trying to prove her wrong, I'd discovered something more valuable than wealth. I'd discovered my own worth. The rain started falling outside, tapping against the windows. But this time, it felt different. Like a beginning, not an ending. I raised my glass, toasting the journey ahead.